What if I told you that 5 cars, just 5, redefined what a coupe could even be in 2026? No SUVs, no sedans, just 2 doors, pure obsession, and enough horsepower to make your brain short-circuit. The coupe is the purest expression of the automobile. No compromise, no extra doors, just you, the road, and a machine built for one reason: to make every other driver wish they'd made a different life choice. In 2026, the bar didn't just get raised. It got launched into orbit. We scoured the entire luxury segment, and today we're breaking down the 5 coupes that stood above everything else. Not just for raw speed, but for the total package: design, tech, feel, and that intangible thing that makes you forget every rational thought when you sit behind the wheel. Let's get into it. Kicking us off at number 5, the car that proves Japan doesn't just build reliable machines. Sometimes they build art. Meet the LEXUS LC500. This is a coupe that doesn't scream for your attention, it commands it. That silhouette, pure theater. The LC's design language is so aggressive, so intentional, that it genuinely looks like it was carved out of a single thought. Under the hood sits a naturally aspirated 5.0-liter V8. And yes, I said naturally aspirated. Pushing 471 horsepower, paired with a 10-speed automatic that shifts with the kind of precision you'd expect from a Swiss watchmaker. Hear that? No turbo lag, no artificial enhancement, just mechanical fury, bottled and sold for around $100,000. Inside, the LC wraps you in semi-aniline leather, real aluminum trim, and a cockpit so driver-focused it feels like Lexus looked at fighter jets for inspiration. Because honestly, they probably did. The LC500 isn't the fastest car on this list, but it might be the most emotionally honest one. And in a world full of turbocharged numbers games, that matters. Number 4. And look, if you've ever argued about what the perfect sports car looks like, this is where that conversation ends. The Porsche 911 Turbo S. 640 horsepower. Twin turbocharged flat 6, rear-mounted, because Porsche has been doing it wrong, then making it work better than everyone else is right, since 1963. 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. To put that in perspective, by the time you finish reading this sentence, the 911 Turbo S is already doing highway speeds. But here's what separates the Turbo S from just being a spec sheet with wheels: it's livable. Porsche's all-wheel drive system, active rear-wheel steering, and adaptive chassis make this thing as comfortable cruising through Malibu on a Tuesday as it is obliterating a racetrack on the weekend. The interior? Understated luxury. The kind where every surface is exactly where your hand expects it to be. The 12.6-inch touchscreen doesn't dominate, it integrates. This isn't a car that shows off. It just quietly does things that shouldn't be physically possible, and then parks itself in your garage like it's perfectly normal. At around $230,000, the 911 Turbo S isn't cheap. It's irreplaceable. Number 3. And we need to take a breath here, because this one is special. The Ferrari 12-cylindry. Ferrari looked at the entire automotive world moving towards smaller, turbocharged, electrified powertrains, and responded by saying, absolutely not. They built a brand new, naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12, 830 horsepower, revving all the way to 9,500 revolutions per minute. That sound, that scream, isn't something you experience. It's something that happens to you. The 12-cylindry is named exactly what it is. 12 cylinders. No apology. No hybridization. Just the purest expression of what Ferrari has been building toward for 75 years. The design is a deliberate throwback. Long hood, short tail, muscular flanks, filtered through an ultra-modern lens. It looks like a classic Italian GT, but one that was engineered on Mars. 0 to 62 miles per hour, 2.9 seconds. Top speed, 211 miles per hour. Inside, Ferrari's new steering wheel houses virtually every control you'd ever need, keeping your hands exactly where they should be, on the wheel, while the cabin wraps you in the finest hides and carbon fiber Maranello can source, starting around $400,000. For a V12 that sings like this, that's not a price, that's a privilege. Number 2. And I need you to shift gears mentally, because we're not talking about lap times anymore. We're talking about the Rolls-Royce Spectre. This is the first fully electric Rolls-Royce in the company's 118-year history. And they didn't electrify a car, They reinvented what silence feels like. 577 horsepower. Dual electric motors. 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, which, for a car that weighs over 6,600 pounds, is genuinely absurd physics. But speed is beside the point. The Spectre's party trick is gallery architecture, a dashboard that's essentially a glass-enclosed display case, custom configured by each buyer. Owners have debuted art installations, illuminated sculptures, and bespoke timepieces mounted inside their dashboard. Your dashboard. The cabin is rated at -0.3 dB, quieter than an anechoic chamber at normal driving speeds. Rolls-Royce engineers sealed every gap, triple-glazed every window, and mounted the body on an air suspension system so refined that the car doesn't react to road texture. It ignores it. At $420,000 and up, the Spectre isn't purchased. It's commissioned. And in 2026, it remains the undisputed benchmark for electric luxury in a coupe body. Nothing else comes close. And here we are. Number 1. The car that, in 2026, sits above everything else on this list. The car where every single decision, from the stitching pattern on the headrest to the torque curve of its engine, was made to be extraordinary. The Bentley Continental GT Speed Mulliner. 771 horsepower from a hand-built, 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged W12. An engine configuration so complex, only a handful of manufacturers have ever attempted it. Bentley's been perfecting it for decades. 0 to 60, 3.1 seconds. Top speed, 208 miles per hour. In a car that weighs over 2 tons and seats 4 in absolute comfort. The Mulliner Edition, Bentley's coach-building pinnacle, means every element is elevated beyond the standard GT speed. We're talking 100,000 plus stitches in the interior quilting. A rotating dashboard panel that flips between body-colored veneer and instrumentation. Crystal-cut controls machined to tolerances tighter than most sports cars' engine components. This is a car that drives like a grand tourer, performs like a supercar, and feels like a private members club that happens to be doing 200 miles per hour. At roughly $370,000, and climbing fast once Mulliner starts customizing. The Continental GT Speed is the total package. Power without sacrifice, luxury without compromise, and a driving experience that sits in a category with one member. In 2026, this is the best luxury coupe money can build. 5 cars, 5 statements. 1 question, which one is yours? Drop your pick in the comments right now. And if you're wrong about the Bentley, I respect the debate. If you want more deep dives on the fastest, most insane machines of 2026, smash that subscribe button, because we're just getting warmed up. I'll see you in the next one.